She had crept up behind him as he was talking, to make an end of him. He heard her savage hiss as the stroke missed. He came down almost across her back, and if he had been an old mongoose, he would have known that then was the time to break her back with one bite. But he was afraid of the terrible lashing return stroke of the cobra. He bit indeed, but did not bite long enough, and he jumped clear of the whisking tail, leaving Nagaina torn and angry. "Wicked, wicked Darzy," said Nog, lashing up as high as he could reach toward the nest in the thorn bush. But Darzy had built it out of reach of snakes, and it only swayed to and fro. Rikki Tikki felt his eyes glowing red and hot. When a mongoose's eyes grow red, he is angry. And he sat back on his tail and his hind legs like a little kangaroo and looked all around him and chattered with rage. But Nog and Nagaina had disappeared into the grass. When a snake misses its stroke, it never says anything or gives any sign of what it means to do next. Rikki Tikki did not care to follow them, for he did not feel sure that he could manage two snakes at once. So he trotted off to the gravel path near the house and sat down to think. It was a serious matter for him. If you read the old books of natural history, you will find they say that when a mongoose fights the snake and happens to get bitten, he runs off and eats some herb that cures him. That is not true. The victory is only a matter of quickness of eye and quickness of foot. Snakes blow against mongooses jump, and as no eye can follow the motion of a snake's head when it strikes, this makes things much more wonderful than any magic herb. Rikki Tikki knew he was a young mongoose, and it made him all the more pleased to think that he had managed to escape a blow from behind. It gave him confidence in himself, and when Teddy came running down the path, Rikki Tikki was ready to be petted. Just as Teddy was stooping, something wiggled a little in the dust, and a tiny voice said, "Be careful, I am death." It was Karate, the dusty brown snakeling that lies for choice on the dusty earth, and his bite is as dangerous as the cobra's. But he's so small that nobody thinks of him, and so he does the more harm to people. Rikki Tikki's eyes grew red again, and he danced up to Karate with the peculiar rocking, swaying motion that he inherited from his family. It looks very funny, but it is so perfectly balanced a gait that you can fly off from it at any angle you please. And in dealing with snakes, this is an advantage. If Rikki Tikki had only known he was doing a much more dangerous thing than fighting Nog, for Karate is so small and can turn so quickly that unless Rikki bit him close to the back of the head, he would get the return stroke in his eye or his lip. But Rikki did not know. His eyes were all red, and he rocked back and forth, looking for a good place to hold. Karate struck out. Rikki jumped sideways and tried to run in, but the wicked little dusty gray head lashed within a fraction of his shoulder, and he had to jump over the body, and the head followed his heels close. Teddy shouted to the house, "Oh, look here, our mongoose is killing a snake!" And Rikki Tikki heard a scream from Teddy's mother. His father ran out with a stick, but by the time he came up, Karate had lunged out once too far, and Rikki Tikki had sprung, jumped onto the snake's back, dropped his head far between his forelegs, bitten as high up the back as he could get hold, and rolled away. That bite paralyzed Karate, and Rikki Tikki was just going to eat him up from the tail after the custom of his family at dinner, when he remembered that a full meal makes a slow mongoose, and if he wanted all his strength and quickness ready, he must keep himself thin. He went away for a dust bath under the castor oil bushes, while Teddy's father beat the dead Karate. What's the use of that? Thought Rikki Tikki. I've settled it all. And then Teddy's mother picked him up from the dust and hugged him, crying that he saved Teddy from death. And Teddy's father said that he was a providence. And Teddy looked on with big scared eyes. Rikki Tikki was rather amused at all the fuss, which, of course, he did not understand. Teddy's mother might as well have petted Teddy for playing in the dust. Rikki was thoroughly enjoying himself. That night, at dinner, walking to and fro among the wine glasses on the table, he might have stuffed himself 3 times over with nice things. But he remembered Nog and Nagaina, and though it was very pleasant to be patted and petted by Teddy's mother, and to sit on Teddy's shoulder, his eyes would get red from time to time, and he would go off into his long war cry, Rick tick 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 tick. Teddy carried him off to bed and insisted on Rikki Tikki sleeping under his chin. Rikki Tikki was too well bred to bite or scratch, but as soon as Teddy was asleep, he went off for his nightly walk round the house. And in the dark he ran up against Chuchundra, the muskrat, creeping around by the wall. Chuchundra is a broken-hearted little beast. He whimpers and cheeps all the night trying to make up his mind to run into the middle of the room, but he never gets there. Don't kill me, said Chuchundra, almost weeping. Rikki Tikki, don't kill me. Do you think a snake killer kills muskrats? Said Rikki Tikki scornfully. Those who kill snakes get killed by snakes, said Chuchundra more sorrowfully than ever. And how am I to be sure that Nog won't mistake me for you some dark night? There's not the least danger, said Rikki Tikki, but Nog is in the garden, and I know you don't go there. My cousin Chua, the rat, told me, said Chuchundra. Then he stopped. Told you what? Hush, Nog is everywhere, Rikki Tikki. You should have talked to Chua in the garden. I didn't, so you must tell me. Quick, Chuchundra, or I'll bite you. Chuchundra sat down and cried till the tears rolled off his whiskers. I'm a very poor man, he sobbed. I never had spirit enough to run out into the middle of the room. Hush, I mustn't tell you anything. Can't you hear, Rikki Tikki? Rikki Tikki listened. The house was as still, but he thought he could just catch the faintest scratch in the world, a noise as faint as that of a wasp walking on a window pane, the dry scratch of a snake's scale on brickwork. That's Nog or Nagaina, he said to himself, and he's crawling into the bathroom sluice. You're right, Chuchundra, I should have talked to Chua. He stole off to Teddy's bathroom, but there was nothing there, and then to Teddy's mother's bathroom. At the bottom of the smooth plaster wall, there was a brick pulled up to make a sluice for bath water, and as Rikki Tikki stole in by the masonry curb, where the bath is put, he heard Nog and Nagaina whispering together outside in the moonlight. When the house is emptied of people, said Nagaina to her husband, he will have to go away, and then the garden will be our own again. Go in quietly, and remember that the big man who killed Karate is the first one to bite. Then come out and tell me, and we will hunt for Rikki Tikki together. But are you sure that there is anything to be gained by killing the people? Said Nog. Everything! When there were no people in the bungalow, did we have any mongoose in the garden? So long as the bungalow is empty, we are king and queen of the garden. And remember that as soon as our eggs in the melon bed hatch, as they may tomorrow, our children will need room and quiet. I had not thought of that, said Nog. "I will go, but there is no need that we should hunt for Rikki Tikki afterwards. I will kill the big man and his wife and the child if I can, and come away quietly. Then the bungalow will be empty and Rikki Tikki will go." Rikki Tikki tingled all over with rage and hatred at this, and then Nog's head came through the sluice, and his 5 feet of cold body followed it. Angry as he was, Rikki Tikki was very frightened as he saw the size of the big cobra. Nog coiled himself up, raised his head, and looked into the bathroom in the dark. "Now, if I kill him here, Nagaina will know, and if I fight him on the open floor, the odds are in his favor. What am I to do?"